do this thing. Okay, you may proceed.
Well set. Thank you. Well, welcome everyone to the June 18th meeting of the Northborough Historic District Commission. My name is Bob Light, Chair. Before I start, I will do the meeting announcements. Pursuant to Chapter 2 of the Acts of 2025, an act extending certain COVID-19 measures adapted during the state of emergency and signed into law on March 28th, 2025, this meeting will be conducted via remote participation. No in-person attendance by members of the public will be permitted. The order allows the Historic District Commission to meet entirely remotely so long as reasonable public access is afforded so that the public can follow along with the deliberations of the meeting. All members of the Historic District Commission are allowed and encouraged to participate remotely. Members of the public who wish to view the live stream of this meeting may do so by going to Northborough Remote Meetings on YouTube via the link listed on the agenda. This meeting will not feature public comment. Each vote taken this evening will be conducted by roll call vote. Members, when I call your name, please respond in the affirmative. Leslie Harrison.
Here.
Amanda Millette.
Here.
Brian Swanson.
Here.
Millie Milton.
Here.
And Bob Light is here. Okay, thank you all. So to start off, we'll go over the meeting minutes. I sent it around to everyone, and we had some edits, and you all have the final version. So are there any comments, or do you need to look at it again?
I saw something. I don't know whether you've got it in the edits, but where we agreed to spend the money on the framed maps, I failed to put down seconded by Tom and unanimously approved.
Okay, you want to add that?
Yes.
Okay, hang on just 1 second. Okay, can you see my screen?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so where are we now? Page 2.
Okay.
The second page, about halfway down. There, yeah, the end of that.
Okay.
One further
Leslie
up.
will, okay.
One paragraph further up.
Okay, right, here we go. So what did you want to add to that?
Seconded by.
Okay, who made Leslie made the motion.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And then I just say second, okay. By who? Tom. And approved?
Unanimously.
I spelled that right? I did not. Okay. No, I didn't.
I was going to say, I don't think so.
Yeah, there we go.
Thank God for spell
Okay.
check.
So do I have a motion to approve these minutes?
I make a motion to approve the minutes.
Second?
What was the date?
Oh, I'm sorry, for May.
Here we go back.
May 21st,
May 21st,
2025.
2025.
Okay, seconded?
Anyone?
Second.
I
I
already
think
heard
you're
Amanda.
the second,
Yeah.
Leslie. I think Amanda got the first second.
Oh, sorry. Sorry.
Okay, Leslie,
Here, aye,
to approve.
something like that. Yes, aye.
Amanda,
Aye.
Brian Swanson,
Aye.
Millie,
Aye.
and I vote aye. So the minutes are passed. I will get those out
Mhm.
to the clerk. Okay, first order of business is going over on the CPA status. So I have a new action item on there. I was asked by oh boy, Mr. Little, Jason Little, the finance director. He's trying to close out some CPA projects. Now, in the past, we used to write a letter to the planning department, basically saying that the project was completed. So I would send something to Lori. Now, I did that for the last two, the aqueduct sign and the Gale
The
Library
library
sign.
sign? Yeah.
The Gale Library sign. But in the past, we've I believe I believe that Norm used to do this. But for some reason, I guess what Jason wanted was he wanted an official closeout. So we reviewed the list of the projects that were closed. They were all listed through 2022 in our preservation plan. So we know that they were completed. I double checked with Norm because he was chair at the time and he concurred. So let me just show you the list. Okay, can you see this?
Hmm.
Okay, so this is the list, and it goes way back to 2012.
Wow.
This was Article 40 of the town meeting, the gravestone inventory. There's a little bit of money left on the projects, but the project was essentially done. A lot of times the CPA project has certain contingencies in there, so there's really nothing that we can do to spend the money. The project was done. Howard Street and Brigham Street burial ground signs. I think that's the issue with some of the warping, but the project essentially was completed.
Mhm.
The next one, and by the way, these are all listed if you go to page 69 of the historic preservation plan. These are all listed there. We also had the signage for Chapinville, Asbitville, Woodside, etc. That was completed. The historic signage for the Meeting House and Fidrich was completed. The Brigham Street Burial Ground property line survey was completed. Then there were two interpretive signs for the burial ground and completed, and two historic markers for Cold Harbor and the Gale Store
Hmm.
was completed. And then the ones that I was involved in was the Gale Library and the Aqueduct Bridge. And in both those cases, I know I sent a letter to Lori with the final invoice saying that they were closed, but I think Jason is looking for a more official closing. Now, there were two on the list that I did not want to close. This is the Howard Street Burial Ground nomination for the National Historic Record. That's still open. There's money left over. And, I contacted Lisa Maushoff and I still haven't heard back from her. I contacted her several months ago, and again, she promised that she'd get it done, but there was other priorities. So we're kind of in a pickle about that one because there was money spent. It's nearly complete. She just has to finish the job. So there's we really can't start from scratch. So I want to keep that one open. And the other one to keep open would be the Brigham Street Burial Ground beautification. We have a little over $7,000 left on that, and that's something we've been discussing at the last several meetings. So
Mhm.
those two I want to keep open. So if I may, unless there's any objections, I would like to have someone move that the Historic District Commission confirms that the following 9 CPA-funded projects have been completed, and that the Historic District Commission shall advise the finance director that these projects may be closed.
Can I ask a question before we get to that?
Oh, yes, sure.
You have available budget. Is that the money's left over?
Yes,
And where does that go? Does that go back into
that'll
CPA
go back.
funding?
That goes back to CPA.
Oh, okay, great. Okay, great.
Yeah.
That's all.
Right. I mean, and the only ones we're keeping open, like in the case of the Brigham Street,
Right.
$7,000, we could spend that. That's
Yes.
still, it falls under the rubric of beautification, so we want to keep moving on that. But the others, the signs were ordered and complete, so they should be closed. So
Is there a time limit on CPA funding grants that we should
apparently,
know about?
I don't know. Apparently not, because this goes back to 2012, so we know it's at least 13 years.
Right.
I think Jason was just trying to clean up the books, get things moving. I was under the assumption that once I sent the letter to Lori, and that saying that this is the final invoice, that it would be closed, but apparently we want to go through a formal closure.
Did we really have a 4-year gap in there with from 2019 to 2023 without any markers?
Apparently, I'd have to go back to, there were other projects on that table, but that didn't go through. They were historic in nature, but didn't go through the Historic District Commission.
Yeah, we did some church things. Remember those?
Yeah, right. So
And a
I'd have
couple
to go,
other
I'd have to look
things,
at
like
the
historic
preservation.
buildings.
Yeah,
Huh.
just
But we didn't apply for them.
Yeah, apparently these are the ones that had our name on it.
surprised there's a 4-year gap in there.
Well, okay. Any other questions about this or concerns?
No,
Okay, can I have someone move that? Do I have to read it again?
No, so moved.
Okay, so move. And second?
second.
Okay. Let me okay, so Brian Swanson,
Approved.
Leslie,
Approved.
Amanda,
Approved.
Millie,
Approved.
and I approve. And one more thing is, can I have someone move that the Historic District Commission confirms that the following 2 CPA-funded projects are not yet complete, and that the Historic District Commission shall advise the finance director that these projects should remain open.
So moved.
Second, okay, Brian Swanson,
Agreed.
Leslie,
Agreed.
Amanda,
Agreed.
Millie,
Agreed.
and
Should we verbally list those articles though? Because if somebody's not watching the video, unless that's,
I am going to submit this as is to Jason
okay, okay,
with the vote results.
okay, great.
And I did read them off.
Yes.
Okay. Okay, good. Now. Okay, we're back. Okay, next on the agenda is Brigham Street Burial Ground completion. We have nothing new to report on this. I still need to talk to Scott about getting the final quote for the posts.
Mm.
Rudy also sent me some pictures of some posts that he was preferred. They're more old-fashioned type posts. He sent some pictures around. I'm not sure if, but again, I asked him to get a quote for these, and that would be a quote for per post to install. So we know how many we could have. And then at that point, we could go to Scott and make a decision. So at this point, I'd like to table this for now. I don't think we're quite ready. And in terms of at the last meeting, we had the discussion about the that garden that was
Mhm.
over at the Watson Park.
Mhm.
I don't know if anyone had further thoughts about that. Again, my only concern with that is I went over and looked at the garden, and it was not my favorite, I'd have to say. And also my concern would be that if we were to do something like that, we would have to have in place an idea of who's going to maintain it. If it's volunteer or however that is, but that's still on the table for us to discuss.
I think he recommended those posts because they would be less costly, possibly. Is that correct?
Right, but I haven't seen the quote yet.
Okay, yeah.
So I want to say once we know the quote, and again, I want to make sure that I also have to clarify with Scott as to how this is going to be installed. If we go with Scott's posts, I would like to see that DPW installs it as opposed to us. I mean, I think
Yeah.
there's
Yeah, absolutely.
liabilities with us.
Yeah, I
How,
don't
how
understand
many
why he's
posts were there?
suggesting.
Do you recall?
I believe my recollection is we could afford 6 or 7.
That's what I thought. It was like 7. Yeah.
There were smaller posts than what was already around the parking
Yeah.
lot, but
Yeah.
they looked good. And they were similar to the posts that are already at the town common. You know, and I tell you, I like those. They would match what we already have, but I do want to make sure that we consider all possibilities. So I'd like to
Yeah.
see what Rudy comes up with.
Yeah.
Okay. Anything else on the burial ground? For now, we'll take this up with more vigor at the next meeting. Leslie, do you want to talk about the warp signs? Nothing new?
No, you saw my latest email saying, hey, here we go again, and
Right.
it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
It
Okay.
takes 3 or 4 months for me to get a rise out of him. He says, oops, sorry, I'm so sorry, I'm right on it, and then nothing happens, and he ignores my emails for another few months.
Yeah. I was over there. I was looking at the one at Howard Street on Memorial Day during the parade, and you could tell it's warped, but you have to get fairly close. So
And it's not horrible, but we pay what,
yeah.
$4,000 for these signs, and they
Okay.
and he said he was going to do something about it. I mean, that's really what it comes down to. Is he said
Yeah,
it
it
shouldn't
comes down
happen.
to
He's going to fix
oh,
it, and he hasn't.
we'll stay on it. And
Yeah.
he was willing to make it right, so let's make it right. Okay, next on the list, we go to committee representation. CPC, I don't think there's anything much with CPC.
Actually, there's a special meeting John called for July 7th. I'm not sure what for, but there are a few things he wanted to discuss. So
Oh, good.
I'm not sure what that's about, but
Okay.
we're having a special meeting. Just on Zoom. It'll be a quick one on Zoom. It might be to close out, but it might be similar, closing things out, or probably
Mhm.
some
I
bookkeeping,
think it is, Leslie.
housekeeping kind of thing.
Yeah.
When do you normally start the fall process for applications?
November-ish, I think.
November?
Let's
Okay.
see. Yeah, October.
Right. One of our next action items will be I know we had a few ideas about a CPC proposals for the fall. I just want to make sure we have it all correct and we prioritize it.
Yeah, it looks like we meet October through town meeting every year is pretty much what we do, or, till March or April.
Good. Okay. Okay, next is Millie, master plan implementation.
Yep, that's me. So, as you all know, the Blake Street project for downtown didn't pass at town meeting, but haven't given up on doing some revitalization in that area. So there actually is a meeting at the library for public attendance to get some input on a sort of a revamping of that proposal that was that was put forth at town meeting. It's on June 30th at 6:30 in the library. And it's basically a different sort of streetscape, but it's just reduced, basically.
Right, I did see that invitation, so that's good.
Yeah.
Good, thank you. Okay, next is the Northborough Revolution 250. We had a busy day on Sunday. We had the Marquis de Lafayette visit us.
Mm,
It was the 200th anniversary of his visit to Northborough during his 50th anniversary of the Revolutionary War in 1823. And I thought that went very well. They have a American Friends of Lafayette that put this on,
Hmm.
and the person that played Lafayette was just excellent.
that's so cool.
That
And
is very cool.
one of the hostesses was Julianne. She did a great job.
Ah,
Yes, but you were his, I don't know, his main host, riding on the fire engine with him and
Right, I had to escort him there. I was telling him about how we fought at Brandywine together.
oh,
Because if I was, if I was like 20 years old during the Revolutionary War, 50 years later, I'm about right.
yeah.
So, and then we also had a conflict because there was also the Bunker Hill Parade, and we had several
Yes.
people march in the Bunker Hill Parade at the same time.
Yeah.
Couldn't do everything. So that's basically it for the Lafayette tour. Oh, the other thing was we did find. Remember, I mentioned that we had 27 witness houses. These were houses that were built during or before the Revolutionary War. We actually found out there were 28. We missed one.
Wow.
It was the Captain Cyrus Gale House on Main Street, 43 Main Street. So
Mm,
we sent them the lawn sign, and we updated the brochure.
I saw that. Yeah. I love those signs. I think that's so cool.
That's very cool. How did you find
Yeah.
out, Bob? Did they
Um,
owner?
it was an oversight somehow, and then I think they actually contacted us. I had met the woman who owned that house a few years ago, and she was interested in possibly even being part of the historic district if we were to go that direction. So she would certainly be one of the houses that we would want to contact if we were to do the Trinity Church Historic District. Okay, fire station, I think is probably Tom, so we'll skip that. Amanda, anything on the library?
I do actually have information. So there used to be a like a local history study room at the library, but it was not getting used at all, really. I mean, they went back a couple years and the information just wasn't being um taken out, or nobody was going in there, and they
Hmm.
needed the space, so it's no longer a study room, but they did make sure that all of the information that they had went to the historical society or to other places in town that will use it.
Hmm.
So nothing was, unless it was moldy and damaged, they didn't throw anything out, so that's good at least.
Hmm.
Okay, good. Anything else?
Nope.
Okay, thank you. Now going to new business. We Leslie had purchased the signs for the Northborough historic signs. We
Mm.
purchased 6 of them for the distribution to the schools. Thank you, Leslie. Did
Thank you for picking them up.
you get your check okay from the town?
I did. Yeah, thank you.
Good, okay. Want to make sure that went through. And Amanda and I went around to the 6 schools and distributed them. So that went well. Well, it was basically the middle school, the high school, Algonquin, Peasley, Z, Proctor, and Lincoln.
Street.
Right. So, and we passed them off. We had a very nice meeting with the principal of Algonquin, Sean Bevan. He spent a lot of time with us, showed us around, and he basically was trying to figure out where he was going to put the sign. So he showed us some possibilities, and he said he'd get back to us on where the sign is going to be posted. He had also asked, and it was an interesting point, because it is a regional high school. He said, is there a sign for Southborough,
Mm.
a historic map? So I went to the Ted's, whatever they call it,
Vintage, whatever, yeah.
and they don't, unfortunately, they did not have Southborough. But they did have two historic signs of Worcester County that show both Northborough and Southborough. So I sent that to Tom and to Sean, and just to see if that's what maybe he wants to do something along those lines. But anyway, that went well, and I thank you, Amanda, for the idea.
You're welcome.
Yeah, it was great.
Does anybody know if actually anything about local history is part of a curriculum in town?
Well, I mean, there's history classes, and it would be local history, right?
I
That would
don't
be-
believe so.
Yeah, I doubt it.
The librarian for Milliken said that she was going to try and come up with something for sixth grade,
Okay.
and just asked if she could reach back out to me in case she has anything. But as far as I know, there's nothing.
Yeah, I think that would be really cool to have maybe, again, a very short segment of local history.
Yeah.
By the way, that we with all the maps, we gave them a cover letter addressed to each school, so they knew who it came from.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's done.
Hmm.
Okay. All right, next on the agenda is with the Revolution 250, we've gotten some grants recently.
Nice.
The $15,000 to cover us through next year for the events related to Knox and the July 4th, as well as the monument that was CPA funds, and then the existing ARPA grant. So I brought up last time that the way it works is that this is an ad hoc committee made up of different commissions. For the Historical District Commission, it's myself and Brian Smith. And there's also nonprofits involved. So it's not an official town committee. So in order to manage the funds, when it's logically going through the Historic District Commission. So I was looking for, there's a lot of these grants are earmarked to certain activity related to Revolution 250. But there are a lot of small incremental spending, like, with the Lafayette event and with the Minuteman departure event, a lot of people have some small purchases that get reimbursed. So it's very unwieldy for me to get approval for every small expense.
Right.
So I wanted to, and Tom suggested I check with the town to make sure that we were doing it right, which I did. I've had a meeting with Steph Bacon, the town administrator, explain the situation. Let me share my screen here. Okay, so I met with her, explained the situation. She thought that it would be fine if the commission authorized me, one person, to approve spending as long as the ad hoc committee wanted to spend those funds. But she did want to check with Jason Little. So she did check with Jason Little. He did get back to me. And I just want to show you what he said. I understand you talked to Steph about financial process, and we have been assuming that the ad hoc Revolutionary War Committee was a subset of the Historic District Commission. So from the list you have of accounts, the bills for the $15,000 free cash appropriation, the ARPA allocation, as well as the CPA article, would still go through the town committee department, i.e. the Historic District Commission. But then he says, so I think it is fine if you sign off on the bill submitted to the warrant as the department head, provided the commission votes to allow at one of their public meetings. So this is being a public meeting. I would like to ask for a motion to allow me to expend the funds as directed by the Revolution 250 committee.
Is that something we'll get like a rundown on, or do we need to get any type of?
I will run down expenses. It's just that as opposed to waiting, having to get the
Yes,
vote, it's very, this way, I will definitely, I keep a budget and I will review that with you as well as during our normal meetings when I review activity. And
Okay.
I actually do that with I'm the secretary of the Revolution 250 committee, so I have a budget for
so
ARPA.
you have it
So
all written, so
we have a
okay.
spreadsheet and we go through it. So
And
I will do that with us as well.
and did I hear correctly saying that you got a $15,000 grant? You did get
Yes,
that?
that was Article 41.
Oh, okay, so that was just,
That was voted.
yeah,
So
okay,
so what I've done is for the 3 grants, I listed them here. And Brian, by the way, I have all these motions as well as the previous motions, which I'll send you.
Okay,
So you won't have to write it down.
good.
So for the ARPA,
okay.
now the ARPA did not go through town meeting. It was
It-
approved by the select board.
Right, okay,
And this is actually, I just verbatim minutes from the select board where they approved the $9,000.
okay,
So that's the verbiage there that describes what the project is about, because obviously the spending can't be for anything that's outside of the scope of the ARPA grant.
got it, okay.
Okay. Before I go through then the next one is the CPA monument. This was simply it was for $10,758 to purchase and install a monument that would be going on town common or another appropriate location. The location is still up in the air right now. We have not ordered that yet, so no money is spent on that as of yet. But that came from Article 37 of the town meeting in April. And I listed verbatim what was approved. And
But
then
you
the
don't
last,
need our permission for that one.
probably not. Well, it's CPA funding. I thought I'd have because
Okay,
normally we would have, I guess in the case of a CPA funds, we would have approved
we've
submittal.
already approved it.
We would have approved submittal. So you're right. Maybe that's not required.
Mm-hmm,
Okay.
mm-hmm,
And then the last one is the $15,000 for the activity related to 2026 and beyond.
okay.
And that was Article 41, which was approved at town meeting.
Very
Okay,
good.
so
Yeah.
if there's any objections to that or concerns or questions,
No,
then I would like to have a motion that the Historic District Commission authorize the chair, Historical Commission, to approve individual expenditures not to exceed a total of $9,000 from ARPA funds for the purpose of supporting Northborough's Revolution 250 committee activity commemorations in 2025, as presented to and approved by the Select Board on November 4th, 2024.
so moved.
Second,
I'll
Second.
Okay,
okay,
Amanda got that.
got that. Okay, Brian Swanson,
Approved.
Leslie,
Approved.
Amanda,
Approved.
Millie,
Approved.
and I approve. Okay, thank you. Now, the next one is the CPA monument, and I think we're saying that we don't have to vote on this because we already, although,
Did.
yeah, I had submitted the proposal to CPC,
Mm-hmm.
and then it was approved by them and approved by the town. But do you want to, as a formality, you want to just do this motion?
Sure.
Okay, yeah, so there's no questions. Can I have a motion to move that the Historic District Commission authorize the chair, Historic District Commission, to approve expenditures not to exceed a total of $10,758 from CPA funds as passed at the April 2025 town meeting, Article 37, for the purpose of installation of a commemorative monument celebrating Northborough's contribution to the American Revolution.
So moved.
Second,
Second,
okay. Brian Swanson,
Approved.
Leslie,
approved.
Amanda,
Approved.
Millie,
Approved.
and I approve. And one more.
Hmm.
Can I have a motion that the Historic District Commission authorize the chair to approve individual expenditures as directed by the Northborough Revolution 250 Committee, not to exceed a total of $15,000 as passed at the April 2025 town meeting, Article 41, for activity related to the commemoration of the 250th anniversary of Northborough's role in the Revolutionary War in FY 26 and beyond.
So moved.
Second,
Second.
okay. Brian Swanson,
Approved.
Leslie,
Approved.
Amanda,
Approved.
Millie,
Approved.
and I approve. Thank you very much.
Hmm.
Okay, moving along. Okay, street naming memo. I sent around the last street naming memo, which basically was all the edits that we had done earlier with Amanda and Leslie. Since then, I received a few additional names, no deletions, but a few additional names from Tom Reardon. So I'm hoping to get this approved and I can clean up the memo and get it out this summer. But I do want to give everyone a chance to review it. So let me just double check this. So can you see this now?
Interesting. Yeah.
Okay. Just by explanation, this is our rough draft and that we're going to keep as a historic record of how we came up with the names. So it has a comment section. It has a reason why these names are deleted. They're in bold and they were typically used. In some cases, we felt they were inappropriate in today's sensibilities. And then we also had decided that rather than do a 36 or 64 grid location, that most of these names really would be appropriate for any location in town, with a few exceptions. And the exceptions that we use would be the precinct map. So there are 4 different precincts in town. So these names that are still on the list, were on the list, are still valid. Belcon has been used, so that's going to be taken off. Now, in the final memo, I'm going to delete this column because the names are going to already been deleted. And I'm going to delete the comments section, just list the recommended precinct location.
And what's the rationale for that?
For what? For deleting?
We're deleting those columns only because if somebody were to come back and look at, again, review this list in 15 years, wouldn't they benefit from having some of those comments?
Well, that's why we're to actually keep this as a record. But the reason the comments usually have, like, for instance, like one or the other.
Oh,
That is I mean, what will happen is when someone uses that name, Bummett, then we're going to delete Bummett Brook anyway. So we're going to have a running total as we go along,
Mm-hmm.
deleting names as they're used. So I didn't see any
Okay.
need. The others were be like the reason for deletion, colonial, and the reason was there was an old colonial. But
Existing.
we're
Okay.
going to delete this whole row anyway, so there's no need for the comment.
Right. The only thing on colonial is it looks like you prefer old colonial for that comment thing
No,
existing.
old colonial was used.
Right, but that's not
That the
clear
com the,
on that.
Right, because
right,
it's
the
going to go
comment
away
was
though. It's going to get deleted.
it's going to get deleted anyway. So we're going to delete colonial, and old colonial has already been used.
So for our own internal notes, we'll see that.
Oh,
But the
okay.
public,
So if someone were to
public-
ask, why can't I use colonial? We'll say, well, it was deleted because old colonial has already been used.
As
But
long
there-
as that's somewhere written. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Same thing, like one or the other. I mean, I think cotton factory, cotton mill, I think it's going to be obvious if someone picks cotton mill, we're not going to want to use cotton factory.
maybe we
but-
should just pick
Just
the one
pick
that say
one
one or
because,
another. Why don't we just pick one?
because when you, yeah, yeah,
I like cotton mill, cotton factory. I don't like, so I would say just
cotton
give-
mill. I agree.
Okay,
If somebody wants to bring up cotton factory in 20 years, they can. Can I ask a question on the ASA name? Because does that have any relevance to a certain district? Do we know anything about that one other than I'm at the ACFA farm, but
ASA was on the original memo, and
yeah,
I don't
I
have a
thought it
reason.
was, and I think it's might be have relevance to a certain district because I think that was if it's for the ACFA farm,
What's the name of the farm, Millie?
ACFA.
ASFA. Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, well, if that's the case, then we should have a precinct.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah. Do you recall which precinct?
I think I'm in precinct 3, but I'm not sure. Fay
Yeah.
ASFA,
Lane.
like Fay Lane, Fay? F-A.
Yeah.
That would be, this is precinct 4, right?
Yeah,
orange-
so I'm in the purple district there
Oh, okay. That's 2.
too. Okay.
So you're right. Okay, that's a good idea. So we'll make that 2.
There you go.
So Asa is someone's first name, you're saying?
Yep. If they're I mean I know it's ASIF I'm at the ASIFA farm,
Seems odd to use a first name for a street name, doesn't it though?
but there's already a Fay Lane.
Right.
Right. I agree.
So I wonder if we should just, if that's really what it is, if we should just get rid of it.
We have a lot of first name streets in town.
Oh, really?
We have Vanessa
Oh, that's true.
Drive, I think. We have Carrie Craig Circle.
There's an Allison Drive.
Yeah. There's
Um,
Catherine.
I'm a little hesitant about, because they put a lot of work into that 1983 memo.
Okay.
And and maybe there was a good reason.
Mhm.
We certainly have the right to take away things like scalping lane or whatever we took out. But other than that, other than it already being used, I would probably prefer to keep it unless there's a good reason not to.
Okay, yeah, no, that makes sense.
Okay. All right, moving along. So we have here,
Wait, can I back up for a second? Are we going to look at all the one or the others and just decide on them, or was that just a special case for the other one?
I think I'll go with your suggestion, but I just as soon keep them
Okay.
unless you have a preference. Like Crane or Crane Swamp. I have no preference there. I mean, Crane Swamp is historic, but the developer may decide they don't want to have swamp in the name, so they want to use Crane,
All right.
which probably makes some sense. Okay.
I kind of like Crane Swamp.
Yeah. Okay,
Curry shop. I love that. That's hysterical. Oh, what is that? Huh.
I want to see people try to spell Dalrymple or whatever it is.
Yeah, exactly.
okay, anyway, so we got
And
the Deer Run
Duplessis.
and Densmore is used. Edmund
Yep,
is used, and in the comment section it says Edmund Way was
yep.
used. Elizabeth. I'll just go through this slowly. Esquire Williams, we already have Williams, I guess.
Yep.
Williams are a circle, so. Farmhouse. Fisk Drive is spelled different, but
Mm-hmm.
I think we have a right to delete that. Goddard is certainly used. I used to work there.
Isn't there a Gates Lane?
Yeah,
Gates Lane.
there is. Gates Pond.
Oh, maybe that's what I'm thinking of.
Yeah,
Oh,
and
that's in Berlin. Yeah, Gates Pond Road.
Gates
That's
Pond
Berlin.
Road. Yeah,
Berlin and Hudson. You're right. Okay.
yeah,
So we keep that.
yep.
Good now has been used.
Mm-hmm.
Grazing. I guess we're going to keep that.
For Haas, should that be um District 3, whatever district Peasley's in?
Who's Oz?
It's Daniel Wesson's wife.
Oh, Sarah? Was it Sarah Hawes?
I think it might have been Cynthia, maybe.
Hmm.
So
Interesting.
that would be, Peasley would be in District 3.
Okay.
Precinct 3, right? Is that right?
Yes, I believe so.
Okay. So that's Hawes 3.
Yeah, good catch on that, Amanda.
Thank you.
Hope we don't end up with a Hayward and a Haywood.
Yeah,
I would say put one or the other on those two as well.
interesting. Yeah,
But it's two different
that's a
people.
tricky one though. Which one would you pick and why?
Yeah.
I don't know, but
Different families, I'm guessing.
Hayward and Haywood, that's going to be
Yeah,
I can just see packages going to the wrong people.
easily.
Well, the odds of these being picked, I mean, it's very rare that we have new streets.
Yeah.
Maybe
Right.
one or two a year, so
Right.
let's hope they don't pick it. Okay, Holbrook. Horse and Buggy is still there.
Hmm. What's hunting party? Is that something that might be concerning?
I didn't think so. I thought hunting party was, that seems like it's an
Going out to
appropriate
get
name
something
as
to
it,
eat?
as opposed to some of the other names that we deleted.
Okay,
I thought that was okay.
okay.
But again, I'm open to a vote.
Is there a general understanding what a hunting party is that?
I assume it's a Native American hunting party, which is, again, we have certain Native American names.
Yeah, yeah.
We just took out some of the more
Mm-hmm.
controversial names, I guess.
For Hunt, should that be in District 3? Was that where I think it was on Main Street, right? I think it was a shoe factory.
Oh, the Hunt is the person's name on the shoe?
Yes. I
Is-
can confirm that, but I believe it was in I think it's in District 3, but it might be District 2.
Well, it's okay to put down 2 or 3. I've done that
Okay.
in the past,
Yeah.
if you think it's close.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure where on Main Street, like I think it's probably District 3 because it's pretty close to Peasley, but 2 or 3 works. That's for Hunt, not hunting party.
Oh,
Mhm.
sorry.
Yeah, I was gonna ask what that, yeah, okay, right.
Hunting party could also be District 3, though.
Well, hunting
Why?
party could be
Why?
anywhere.
What-
Because that's the district that Mary Goodnow was killed
Hmm.
in.
Well, we weren't hunting for Mary Goodnow.
Yeah, we were,
Yeah.
no.
No.
Oh,
See,
good Lord.
if we relate hunting party to Mary Goodnow, then we
Yeah.
should delete it, I
Yeah,
guess.
you know what, I think we
I
have
was
so
thinking
many
more
to
like
choose
deer.
from. If we're questioning whether it's appropriate, I would say get rid of them.
That's kind of the way I feel. I don't know what the real connotation of hunting party
Yeah, I would,
was at that time, but my first thought was it has a bit of a negative feeling to it right now.
I'm fine with that. If that's
there's
well,
no
we have
shortage of names,
hunting
so
ground and hunting party. Delete hunting party and leave hunting ground.
I would just get rid of both,
Mm,
my feeling.
Well, a hunting ground is more, you think more of animals as opposed to people.
I agree. I agree.
So I would be in favor of keeping hunting ground and taking out hunting party.
Okay.
Yeah. I definitely, for some reason, think hunting party seems more uh uncomfortable.
Right.
Negative.
Yeah. I agree. Hunting ground is, you think of a Native American hunting ground
Right.
for
Yeah.
for
Right, but
deer.
a
For
party's not,
game or for, fowl or something that has relevance to their
Right.
existence, but I
And the
don't
fact
know
is that they're so
hunting
close anyway, that
party.
justified taking out hunting
but a
party.
party isn't necessarily a celebration. The term party also just means a group of people, right? So hunting party
Mhm.
is a group of hunters. It's not, hey, let's celebrate the fact that we,
I understood, but I think the
Okay.
issue is what were they hunting?
right.
So is that okay?
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
And I'm not familiar with a lot of these names, but okay, Kendall we took out. Larkin, Liberty. Now Lake Chauncey I put in as in precinct 3, which is where Lake Chauncey is.
Mm-hmm.
That's Little Chauncey.
Yep. Little.
I'm sorry, Little Chauncey, right?
Right.
Lions.
Hmm.
That's not, we have Lion, right? Isn't Lion Road, Lion Street?
Lyman.
Oh, Lyman, I'm sorry. Okay,
Yeah, I don't-
Lion's good. I'm sorry, I'm mixed up. Okay.
Be interesting to find out really some of the people behind these names.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we could check I have my Kent books and the
Yes.
other
Yeah.
Mulligan, and you can look it through
It'd
there.
be very interesting.
Yeah, it would be interesting. Now, meeting and meeting house, I put into precinct 4, which is where the meeting house is.
I think it should be one or the other on that.
I think so too. But I think we'll give the developer a choice and then delete the other.
Mm-hmm.
Should we put one or the other like we did on the
Put
other
one or
three?
the other.
Right, but we're not going to have the comments section.
Except for us.
Okay.
And are you going to highlight the two that are supposed to be one or the other so that it's more clear for,
Well, this is just internal,
yeah,
so we'll know
okay.
because they're right next to each other.
Would make those consistent, sorry.
You might be overestimating.
Bob, you want to make those both the same? Say the same or? Well, the other say one or the other. So for consistency, it should be the one or the other, not the.
Okay.
Thanks.
I think we also, one thing to consider is like what we have to make sure that when we're done with this, that this document gets around to everyone so that in the future, someone will be able to look it up and have a master.
Right,
So
so, yeah,
I'll keep it with my master files, but just want to make sure that I'll put it into the Historic District Commission binder book.
We can have a Google Drive if you want to create a Google Drive share. Can store
Yeah.
documents there.
Yeah, we could do that. We should probably do something like that. I got some of Norm's old files on a thumb drive, but I rarely use it. I kind of created my own. So
Another
we'll
one
work
or the
something.
other.
Mm.
Nip muck, nip muck and nip muck way should be one or the other again.
North. We don't have a North Street, do we?
The West Street,
We have a South.
we have a South Street.
Revolt has been used,
mm-hmm,
which is, by the way, that was the name that caused this whole exercise because
right,
the select board
Interesting,
didn't
huh?
like the name. For some reason, the developer decided on Revolt. It fell within the actual grid of where the street was going to go.
interesting.
You don't think the peace pipe has the potential to be problematic?
Which one?
Peace pipe?
Actually, I thought that was fine because, peace pipe. It shows some Native American heritage, but it's also a piece. So I didn't see a problem with that, but I'm open to suggestions.
I actually think that might be a slight positive.
Okay, as long as it was really used. I don't know if it's one of these
Yeah, I don't.
notions that we have that it was used in a certain way that maybe it wasn't, and it just shows
Hmm,
cultural ignorance.
hmm,
Just I
Yeah.
don't know. I don't know enough about it to know if it.
Halataya, interesting. Ooh, definitely want to look these up. So Precinct Road, that wouldn't be confusing at all, right?
Precinct
No.
Road.
I was just thinking the same lines as like Turnpike Street or,
Well, Turnpike we took out, didn't we?
yeah, you did. So I think precinct is fine.
Only because, it didn't make sense to have something called Turnpike.
Street, right, exactly. Turnpike, yeah.
Yeah, but precinct, I think that's okay.
Yeah, it's fine.
I've asked ChatGPT about peace pipe
Yes.
and why it can be problematic. Even if meant to signal harmony, the use of the term can unintentionally perpetuate romanticized or outdated portrayals of native cultures. That's kind of what I was getting at.
Mm.
Yep, that's a good point.
Alternate suggestions: tranquility lane, harmony, quiet circle, willow. Yeah, I mean, it's just, if anything has the potential to be problematic, I'd say. Yeah.
It's sad to me that that's such a big thing because, it's meant in such in my mind, a good, positive way.
Yeah, so it says it's the calumet. It's actually, the term is the term is actually the calumet. Calumet is the actual sacred ceremonial pipe used in many Native American cultures, especially among Plains and Great Lakes tribes. Using the term casually or as a decorative or exoticized name for a street or product can trivialize or commodify an object that holds deep spiritual meaning. I don't know. Anyway, I just wanted to throw it out there.
So just out of curiosity, was that called the peace pipe? I'm assuming it wasn't called the peace pipe by the native population. It's something we termed it.
Right.
Be curious to find out what the native population called that
Well, it's a calumet is what they're saying is the,
The ceremony, but that's in the Great Lakes region and the Plains region, so the
let's say the
Right.
term peace pipe is a term commonly refers to the calumet, I'm not sure I'm not pronouncing calumet, a
yeah,
sacred ceremonial pipe used in many Native America, especially among Plains and Great Lakes.
okay, interesting.
Yeah.
Maybe
Anyway,
considered calumet.
Okay,
Interesting, yeah.
so what is the sense is that we should delete it to play it safe?
I,
I'm
Yeah,
okay with it.
I
Okay.
agree with Leslie.
Hmm.
I think so too.
when in
You
doubt,
want-
my feeling is if you have the potential to be an issue, then
Offend somebody, right?
yeah, then don't take the chance.
So do we want to vote on it? Just quick?
If it's a delete, that's fine with me.
Okay, let's delete it.
Yeah.
You gonna put a U there too? Oh, no, U's just for use. Sorry, never mind.
Oh, I think we're supposed to use what was it, an N for not appropriate, or I can't remember.
Yeah, I think N.
Rocky Pond, I thought is up in Berlin,
It is.
but anyway, I put it in precinct 4 because it is sort of near the border.
It's right on the border, yeah.
I can't help but laugh. Sad end.
Oh, what is
I don't remember seeing that one before.
who wants to live there?
No, really.
I don't think that's ever going to be chosen, but there
I
again,
don't
there must have been a
It's
reason.
kind of a funny, yeah. Well, leave it in. It's not offending me anybody at this point.
Good for. So I heard the definition of tradition the other day. Someone said, you should do it because tradition. So the definition of tradition is peer pressure from dead people.
Ah!
So this was in 1983. A lot of those people are probably dead.
Yeah. Oh gosh. Oh my goodness.
Okay, so we have there was a question about Sievers, but that is unused. I think Seaver or Sievers was one of the Minutemen,
Oh,
Well, I think you've got Sever and Sievers
right.
and Seeger. I think those are very close.
but Sever was not a Minuteman, so it must be a different person.
But do you think that's close enough to Seaver? Mm,
If it's two distinct people, then I don't think it's a problem.
again, I'm just thinking Sever, Seaver, Seeger, all of those three are pretty. Shop.
We have Shops Way. I don't know if it's
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
like
you're
a
right.
public
Yeah.
street, but
Yeah. Yeah. It definitely is.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, take that out. Yeah, we're making good progress.
Mm-hmm. Used already.
So Joseph Sever was a Revolutionary War veteran who lived in Northborough. 1750 to, so there's Sever and Seaver. They're kind of mixed together.
But
Well, what,
Seaver was a Minuteman.
Yeah,
well,
well,
what if you did Joseph Sever instead of just Sever? I'm curious.
there's a Joseph Sever born in 1750 to 1829, and then his son was Joseph Faxon Napoleon Seaver, spelled Seaver. And maybe he was the Minuteman because he's 1794 to 1870. Oh no, that's still right. Sorry.
Interesting.
That would be no, it would
Yeah,
be
so
after.
but the Revolutionary War veteran that's Sever, according to ChatGPT, which however, none reached the level of widespread recognition like Edwin P. Seaver.
I think there should be some sort of qualifier between those two.
You mean one or the other?
Well, just a Joseph Sever or first name, last name thing. I mean, there doesn't have to be, it's just my opinion.
It sounds like there's more than one Sever.
Several
So,
Severs, or is that what you're saying?
well, there's two Severs that could be. So if we use a first name, it's gonna rule out the second guy.
Yeah, and they're related. So
How
Sever and
about some guy
Seaver,
named Sever?
and they're related. The name changed from
Yeah.
Sever to Seaver, it seems. So
Interesting. We can leave it. It's fine with me, but
I'd say let's move on because I
Yep.
think
Yeah.
keep going.
though we can revisit this if one of those is picked.
is it Seavers or Seaver though?
Well, Severs was the original memo.
Right, but is that the
I
right
don't-
name? Or is it Seaver?
And I can't remember if I think Seaver without the S was a Minuteman.
Hmm. Who is Severs? Interesting. I'm gonna look that up.
Yeah, I'm not finding Seavers with an S as a name in Northborough, but that's not a 10-second search isn't extensive, but I wonder if that Seaver should actually be Seaver. Seaver should be Seaver.
Right.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Bob, you think with the SEA is the one that was a Minuteman?
Yes.
Then why don't we get rid of SEVER and change Seavers to Seaver? That's my 2 cents.
I'll add
Just-
those 2 cents.
So you want to make that Seaver?
Yeah, and then I would get rid of the Seaver, Sever, the other one.
Yeah, I like Seaver better.
It seems like it was the same family anyway, so
Mm-hmm.
perfect. Thank you.
Stirrup Brook is used already.
I'm sorry.
Stirrup Brook is
Down
is a
below
road.
219.
Oh. Yes.
Oh,
Stirrup Brook is used, right?
Yep,
Yep.
sure is.
How do we miss that?
I don't know.
And should we have, if we have Crane Swamp or Crane Swamp, if one of the others if Crane Swamp is chosen, would we want Swamp?
Well, there is a Great Swamp,
Then maybe we should,
which I like because Great Swamp is actually on the other side of town. Great
Okay.
Swamp is on the western part of town, and we think that's where the Tea Party originated.
interesting. Okay, so maybe just qualify that as Great Swamp.
Yeah, I like Great Swamp
Okay.
because that's also not as yucky as just plain swamp. Okay, Great Swamp, I have 2 or 3, and that's because on the western part of town, the precinct runs right down Main Street. So it's possible that the Great Swamp is on either side.
Okay.
So do people know what spinning bee means? I did not, but I just looked it up.
What does it mean?
Spinning bee was a social gathering in colonial America, especially in the 1760s and 1770s, where women came together to spin yarn or thread, typically from homespun wool. These events were both productive and political. Patriotic protest. Spinning bees became popular in form of protest against British goods, especially after the Townshend Act, 1767, support for American independence, public display of patriotism, empowerment of women. Very cool.
Yeah.
That's a great
Yeah, I
name.
like it. Yeah.
That's a great name. Okay.
Hmm.
Tavern Road.
I think we tried the road part on.
Yeah, we normally wouldn't have a road there. That would be up to,
Yeah, so
right?
just change
Yeah.
that.
Street, lane. Yeah.
Okay. Oh, here now TP is one of those ones where
Yeah, I would get rid of it.
Yeah.
you would get rid of that.
Yep.
I think if we're going along the lines of the peace pipe, like that could be just a little bit stigmatism.
Yep.
Stigmatic. I could be wrong.
Yep. I agree.
But for the record, we do have a
Again,
Tom
like you
Park
said,
Drive.
how many decades is it going to take? Centuries is it going to take to get run out of names on her? So if you
Okay.
House, town meeting, Townsend.
Treetop is used
trail, I
already.
don't.
Treetop is
Oh yeah,
definitely
why?
circle.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
And do you think again, trading and trading post, it should be one or the other? 234 and 235?
Yes.
Yeah, yep. And then trail, I would get rid of because trail would typically be the name of. You wouldn't have like Trail Road or Trail Street, would you?
Right. Sort of like
Because a
turnpike
trail is a
road.
path. Yeah, that's true.
Trail, something trail.
Yeah, it
Yeah,
would
that
have to
seems
have
odd to
something
me.
in front of it.
Right, so I would just get rid of it.
Or we could, how about Native American Trail? Because we have a marker up for that.
Sure. Or even Algonquin Trail or something. Is that an option?
Nipmuc, maybe?
Nipmuc?
We already have a Nipmuc somewhere else,
We already
but
have
Yeah, we
Nipmuc,
do.
yeah.
how does this look?
Native American Trail. It's a
Yeah.
long address though.
Yeah. Well, they don't have to
I
use it.
know, that's on them. Tub mill, wagon and wagon
Well, what about
wheel.
Algonquin? How about Algonquin?
I like
You
it.
mentioned it. Yeah, it's
There's no Algonquin anywhere else?
I
just
don't
the
think,
school.
I didn't,
You
I don't
mean
remember.
Algonquin Trail? What you're saying is
Sure.
Algonquin Trail, right?
Yeah.
I think so, yeah. Yeah, if we're trying to find something for trail.
Okay.
Yeah.
But-
Wagon
Okay.
and wagon wheel, are we okay with that?
I'm okay with, yeah, one or the other.
One or the other, that's what I was saying. Okay.
We took out wampum.
Yeah.
We took out Warpath and War Party.
Well, that's when we need the
Good,
peace
yeah.
pipe. Wheelock, Whipple, Wilder, Williams. We don't have an Esquire Williams or
We
Williams Circle?
we have a Williams, right? Somewhere.
That's
Yeah.
It says
what-
Williamsburg Circle.
Williamsburg.
Williams and Williamsburg Circle. So keep that or no? But it was Esquire, wasn't it Esquire?
Oh, Williams Circle, but keep.
Yeah,
Why do we do that? Oh, because that was Williamsburg, and this is Williams. I think
okay,
that's why we kept it.
Yeah.
okay.
Was Williams somewhere else on there too, though?
Yeah, it's up above. It's like Esquire Williams or something.
Did we take that out?
Yeah, and then,
Yeah, we took
I
out
think you took that
Esquire
out
Williams
because
because of Williamsburg Circle.
right.
Oh, okay, but actually the reason is we already have a. So then maybe we should keep Esquire Williams. What do you think?
I think just leave
Wanna-
Williams.
Just leave Williams. Okay. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
so that's it. Now the new names: Bunker Hill, Captain Wood, Hildreth, Independence, Colette, Knox Train, and Knox Trail. Again, one or the other. Minutemen, Musterfield, Fidrich, Pincus. Now Tom, I'm sorry, yeah, Tom had suggested people that were related to the early meeting house was Martin, Cushing, Parkman, and Prentice. I put them all in in precinct 4. And then he suggested for the Minutemen, Bruce and Kenny.
Okay.
So those are good reasons.
Mhm.
So we kept those. Okay, so how's that look?
Looks good.
Mhm.
Kind of a fun project.
Yeah,
So can you go back down to number Fisk
Fisk.
that's, we already have Fisk Drive. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Number 240 something.
Yeah, Widow Fisk.
Where are we going? Fisk, number 250 something. 252,
252.
so Widow Fisk.
Okay, Widow
Okay.
Fisk. Well, there is a Fisk Drive, but it's spelled differently.
That's what I was catching, so
I
that's.
think we took out Fisk with an E.
Yeah,
did,
okay.
yeah.
Okay,
And I'm
that's
not,
why I was
it's
catching it.
possible there was 2 different people, but
It might be the same, the sub receiver.
Right,
we
It's
just
they
decided,
way
I
of
think,
spelling a registration of names, yeah.
I think
Okay,
having a
all right.
Fisk Drive and a Widow Fisk is probably confusing.
Definitely.
Okay.
That's all.
All right. So what I'm going to do is organize this. Amanda, you said you might be able to help me with
Yeah,
this. So
I should be able
basically
to help.
just this is a Word document. I'll send it to you.
Okay.
One other comment for Turnpike.
Yes.
It says that it's confusing, but isn't Route 9 is called Turnpike Road? So it would be already used unless it's
It would
not
be-
Turnpike Road through when it comes through Northborough.
Yeah.
Good point. Good point.
Yeah, it is a good point. So it's used and it's confusing.
Yeah. And maybe, like I said, I know Route 9 changes names along the way, so maybe it's not Turnpike Road in Northborough, but it's close enough. It is referred to as Turnpike Road. So
Yeah, good point.
Okay. So Amanda, I'll send you this, and basically, if you could just take a crack at putting it in alphabetical order.
Sure.
I will I'll go ahead and delete the deletions and just clean it up. And then
Okay.
just take out column B and column D,
See,
and
and then just
then
fit up
maybe
the
have a
webpage.
second column. So
If
Okay.
you
know
pop
on
this
one
into
page.
Excel, you can sort it easily and
Yeah.
Well, this is Word, and I have to cut and paste it into the memo.
right, but you could copy and paste it into Excel and still use from Excel, and then you can easily filter and you can
yeah.
filter, you can copy paste, you can sort, you can.
Yeah. Well, whatever, Amanda, works for you. Excel or Word.
Okay.
Okay. Now, before we move on, I also sent you a draft of the memo, which would go out. According to the bylaws, which, by the way, I don't think anyone follows the bylaws anymore, but I put the bylaws in at the end of the memo for the naming of streets. because it does talk about various people responsible for this. But the way it's working now is it's the planning board seems to be the ones that determine the street name. But because of the original memo, which was going to these various organizations, I thought I would send it to the chair of each of these organizations. The town engineer, town clerk, select board. And then a lot of this was from the original memo. Just basically, I'm explaining that we're converting from a from the grids thing to a recommended precinct. And that how we revise the names, taking out the used names and the inappropriate names. And then the one point I wanted to make was that the bylaws do not mandate that this list be used. So we want to be somewhat flexible. So I'm saying that if the proposed name by the developer or planning board is not on this list, then the name with a brief explanation of its historic significance be sent to us for approval.
Hmm.
Sounds
So
good.
that way, that way, if someone says, well, I have this great name and it's historically significant because of such and such, then we can approve it.
Like it.
Okay. And then on the second page of the memo is going to be the list of names. I'll put in a copy of the precinct map, and then the appendix will be the town code as written. Okay, I mean, we could carry this on, but I think we're pretty much ready to approve this as we've discussed tonight. Can I have a motion to approve the draft memo and the street names?
So moved.
Second,
Okay. Brian Swanson,
Agreed.
Leslie,
Agree.
Amanda,
Agree.
and I agree.
and Millie Milton agrees.
Oh, where's Millie? I don't see you. And
You,
Millie.
you don't see me right now.
Okay, and sorry, Millie, and Millie. Okay, so it passes unanimously. Thank you very much. Okay, let me try to move along here quickly. So that was, oh, and I wanted to point out, I didn't bring this up at the last meeting, but everyone knows that the request that we put in for the change of the bylaw that defines significant building
Mhm.
was approved. Although I noticed that it hasn't been changed yet on the website. So I'll keep checking that. I'll check with the town clerk and see when that will happen. But it was approved, so this was the change that took out the requirement that the building is on Macris, it is then automatically historically significant. We took that out, but we put in verbiage that basically gives us better guidelines to determine whether a building is significant or not.
So was that approved through the Board of Selectmen
No,
or?
it was approved at town meeting. It was approved, it was Article 48.
So I
and it-
don't think they can actually put it on the town website until it's approved by the state.
Oh,
I think
okay,
it has to go through um, the
AG,
governor,
Attorney General.
attorney
Okay.
general, yeah.
okay, good
Whoever.
point, good point. I think, well, if we get a demolition request before it becomes official, I guess we can debate it at that time as to which
Mhm.
definition to use. Hopefully,
Mhm.
we won't have that problem. Okay, good, good. I'll check with the town clerk too and see what the timing is for that.
Yeah.
Good, thank you.
I typically think we see the notification of those changes sometime in September. But it
Okay.
may be because they're, the ones we see are planning board related, they may not be as the same, administrative changes.
Okay, well, good. Anyway, I like the new change is certainly a lot easier
Mhm.
and more meaningful. The next was Amanda. Did you want to cover anything on the businesses and historic districts that you're working on? Or you want,
Yeah, I'm still plugging away at it. I don't have anything new to share.
okay, we can put that off. That's good. And Millie, anything on certified local government project?
I actually finally have, I have really all the qualifying elements that I wanted to put in a letter. So that's hopefully going out to Michael Steinitz tomorrow.
Oh,
As
excellent.
long as, does everybody want to see what I basically took what people wrote and gave to me and put it in a summarized format and bullet points, and then that's what I want to send to him.
Could you just send us a
Mine.
copy of, could you send us a copy of what you're sending?
Yes, do you want to see it before I send it and wait for the next meeting, or do you want?
No, we don't have, I don't think we have to approve it.
Okay,
If it's okay with everyone, just let us look at it and maybe
Yeah.
give us, if you could give us a day to
Yeah.
comment in case we
oh
see
yeah,
typos or anything
sure.
like that.
Sure. I mean,
Yeah.
I did individually send out what I put together to people. So I got some comments back, but
Yeah, and I know I commented also, but if it's okay, just send it to us. Give us
Sure.
another 24 hours
yeah, okay, of course.
just to see. So basically, it's just going to be more like the resumes of everyone.
Yeah.
What about the preservation plan? Is that going with it?
It's as our list of goals. It's in
No,
our list of goals. Yeah.
actually, no, sending them the actual preservation plan
No,
or even just linking it.
they really are just looking for what the makeup of this committee is rather
Okay.
than the the intent or direction. Yeah.
Okay.
And what I was going to do is one of our goals on the master plan is to become a certified or look into that. So that's the impetus for this whole movement.
Who did you say you're going to send this to, Millie?
Michael Steinitz, Steinitz.
Okay, thank you.
Is he the one that took over Jen's job?
Yeah, he's the one that's filling in. He doesn't want to say that he's taking it over. He's just filling in until they find somebody.
Okay. Um, I think my only recommendation may be to send them a link to our preservation plan. I just think was such an extensive job, and I think if they see that along with the resumes, that would certainly help to mention it maybe in your cover letter.
Okay.
You could actually just link it to the website.
I'm not sure I know how to do that. I might need some technical expertise, but I will
I
definitely
I'll send you
seek
the
it out.
link. I'll send you the link.
Okay.
So you just have to have just a sentence say, we developed the Northborough Historic Preservation Plan in 2022, and then have a link.
Mm-hmm.
If
Great.
they open it, they open it. If they don't, they don't.
Can't hurt. I agree.
No, I think it will help. Yeah, good. All right. Is there any other business before the commission?
So Bob, there were 3 historic homes that sold between April and now.
Yes.
So I don't know, 2 of them are single family homes. One is a multifamily. I don't know what the owner's intent is, so I don't know if we want to send them a letter or not, but I found the purchaser's name, but now I lost it. I'll have to go hunt it down again, but I have all the addresses and the names. If we want to do letters for them.
Okay. Brian, you have a
Template?
template for welcoming letters.
Yep.
These, by the way, are historic homes, right?
Yes.
Amanda, how'd you find this out?
Zillow.
Good for
I just
you.
I look on Zillow and I go through the sold homes, and they're usually pretty easy to tell what's old versus what's not. And
Yeah,
um
Hmm.
yeah,
good for you.
thank you.
Could
And I don't
you,
know, one of them that sold was a two-family at one point, and the people that bought it in the 80s converted it to a single family again. So I don't know if, maybe that's the current, the multifamily. I don't know if that's their thoughts too, but
but if we sent a letter to the owner,
yeah,
whether it's a
I
single
could
family or
see.
two family, it wouldn't matter.
Yeah.
Okay. Brian, would you mind if Amanda
can-
sends you the names and addresses?
I'd be fine.
No rush on that. Okay.
If you could,
Thank you,
Amanda, if you
Amanda.
could send it to everybody, I'm curious about the addresses.
Oh,
Sure. Yeah, I can do
Okay.
that.
sounds good.
I mean, I've got the addresses right now, Leslie, if you want.
Yeah, it
Is
won't
that,
take time,
is that
but yeah.
something
great.
you just took upon yourself to do, Amanda, or is that something that we might, going forward, might want to designate to a member that basically says, hey, can you kind of keep an eye on what the homes are that are going up for sale?
Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of sort of looking for a house for myself to buy. So I'm on Zillow fairly regularly, but
Ah.
with the house prices, it's just never gonna happen. So I'm there anyways. So
So I nominate Amanda to keep doing it.
Yeah.
There you go. And
yeah, I'm
maybe
happy to
that's
do
something
that.
we can continue to look into.
Our
'Cause I think
watchdog.
that's a really good, I think that's a really good um activity for us to be somewhat, present on.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I'd be happy to. And I mean, Brian, if you want to send me the thing, I mean, I don't know who has to sign the letter, but I'd be happy to put the letters together too, as far as like who it's for and all that.
Yep.
Okay.
I
But
normally
still,
sign, I normally
you
sign the
sign it.
letter.
Okay.
So you just send it to me. I can put it on letterhead unless, well, I know Brian already has the letterhead.
Yeah.
So whatever works, we'll get it out.
Yeah. So the houses that sold are 12 Chapin Court, 40 School Street, and 34 River Street.
34 River?
Yeah.
All right, thanks.
Okay, thank you very much. Anything else? Any other business? Okay, our next scheduled meeting is July 16th. And I would propose, if there's no objections, that we take a summer break for July. And we'll reconvene at our normal meeting in August. The only stipulation would be that if there isn't an issue that came up, then we may have to continue to schedule the July 16th meeting. For example, if there's a demolition request, we have 30 days in which to act. Then I would have to call the meeting. Again, it would be a brief special meeting. But I think we deserve a break. We had a busy year.
I move that we bypass the July 16th meeting.
Right.
Unless we have a special meeting called.
Okay. I guess, okay, second.
I second it.
Okay. Leslie,
Yeah, sounds good. Approved.
Amanda,
Aye, whatever.
Approved.
Millie,
Aye.
and Brian Swanson,
Aye.
and I approve. We've done this in the past. We've taken 1 month off in the summer. So I think I'm on good ground here. Okay, well, thank you, everyone. Oh, can I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
Second.
Okay, Leslie,
Yes, please.
Amanda,
Yes.
Brian,
Yes.
Millie,
Yes.
And I move to adjourn. I apologize for going over, but we got a lot done today. So,
Yeah, no, it's a good meeting.
Have a great summer. We'll see you
You.
all in August.
Thank
too.
you. You too.
Good.
Take care.
Bye, guys.
Bye.